As there are more fatal terrorist attacks, as more people are killed in terrorist attacks, we see more volatility in political party systems worldwide. And what that means is political parties can lose power to a much greater extent. If you look at political parties that have been entrenched within a democracy, they can lose power to some extent. New political parties tend to gain more seats as more fatal terrorist attacks occur in democracies worldwide. But one of the things we find in this research is that also in what we refer to as less consolidated democracies, democracies that are democratic but less so compared to some other democracies around the world, show the greatest effect. So when fatal terrorist attacks occur in these democracies, there's more volatility in their political party systems, which means there's more chaos politically that occurs when there are elections following terrorist attacks. We tend to see a higher percentage of individuals turn out to vote in democracies worldwide as there are more terrorist attacks, and as the more terrorist attacks are more severe, as more individuals are wounded and killed in the terrorist attacks. And the reason for that in part is individuals become more anxious and fearful about their environment and their physical safety, so they're more likely to pay attention to politics and then turn out to vote in greater numbers. Now, what we don't understand, however, is what specific political parties benefit or lose when this occurs. We're actually conducting research, some colleagues and I, looking at do parties of the left, the right, or center benefit to a greater or lesser degree worldwide as there are more numerous and severe terrorist attacks. But also, terrorist attacks can very much destabilize political parties and political party systems in democracies worldwide, specifically in less consolidated democracies. Countries that are democratic, but less democratic than some other democracies that are more stable and consolidated. When we really look at some of the research on terrorism and how it affects political behavior and how it may be somewhat different than other violent acts, I think one thing about terrorism that is somewhat different is it's carried out for a different motivation than criminal acts are in many cases. It's carried out for a political, religious, or social cause. And there's something about that itself that increases anxiety and fear in individuals, a little bit more so than a typical act of crime that someone would see on the news. And so due to that reaction the individuals have to terrorist attacks, we tend to see them paying attention to their political environment a little bit more closely and turning out to vote in slightly greater numbers from a percentage standpoint. Some individuals have asked, well, is there a point in which we'd see this effect diminish over time? So we see terrorism occur frequently, every day or every few days where that would happen. I think to some extent the answer is yes, in that people can become desensitized to that to an extent. But I also do believe that terrorism is just fundamentally different than other violent acts. And so I think individuals will continue always to have a stronger reaction to terrorism than they would other violent acts such as criminal acts. And so I do think people will still become anxious and fearful and turn out to vote in slightly higher numbers. It's just that effect may become weaker over time, but I still do think you will see that.